So, welcome. Thank you for joining us for today's session Survey Methods in Research, Design and Implementation. Uh, Here's how we'll navigate today. Before we begin, let me introduce Kashf to anyone new with us today. Kashf is a non-profit initiative dedicated to making research and learning in social sciences and humanities more accessible, especially for learners in non-metro regions or underserved institutions. The idea is simple. We want to pass on the lessons we learned or wished we had learned during our academic journeys. Our goal is to make the process of research and learning a bit smoother, especially when it comes to the basics and foundational training. We have hosted free informative and training sessions, sometimes multiple in a month, covering everything from the basics of research to writing a proposal to doing a literature review to learning referencing and so on. We have also hosted writing workshops and even special sessions co-hosted with seminar forums in Oxford and other institutions. To reach more learners, we have started offering sessions in regional languages as well, because language should not become a barrier in learning. Today's session is a part of our Research Methods Explainer series. This series breaks down research approaches and methods in clear, accessible ways for students and early career researchers. As the title of today's session suggests, we are going to look at survey methods today. If you have missed upon earlier sessions, you may kindly visit our YouTube channel and find all the videos there. So it is my pleasure to welcome Mr. Nandlal Mishra to today's session. Mr. Mishra is a research associate at Data for India with research interests spanning development, health, and social statistics. He is skilled in analyzing large-scale data sets and is currently in the final year of his PhD in population studies at the International Institute for Population Sciences, Mumbai. We welcome you, sir. His work has focused extensively on understanding and improving the use of major Indian surveys and data sets, including National Family Health Survey and the Periodic Labor Force Survey. We are delighted to have him with us today to share his expertise on survey methods, research design, and implementation. So, sir, I'll hand it over to you. Welcome.
Thank you, Akanksha. Thank you, Vidushi and whole Kashf team. My voice is clear and audible. Please confirm. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for inviting Data for India team and particularly me for this talk. So the purpose of talk is today to discuss survey method as a research method. How do we use survey as a research method? What are limitations? What are strengths? And we will discuss several aspects of survey. But before moving to that, let me share my screen, slides. Is it visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Hello. Okay, thank you. So there is some internet connectivity issue at my village due to storms. So I will keep sharing my screen, but I will switch off my video. I hope all the participants are comfortable with both English and Hindi. If you are not comfortable with Hindi, so I will continue English. So if all are comfortable, so please give some thumbs up or some indication so I can enjoy speaking Hindi as well during the session. Okay, thank you. Thank you. So survey, before moving to the slides and discussing the formal things about survey research, let me briefly discuss the idea of survey. We all know that survey is one of the most widely used research method across the domains of social sciences, including public health, development studies, public policy, sociology, economics, and beyond that, when we do monitoring and evaluation of policies and programs, most of the times we prefer surveys. There are many methods in research. We all know about at least a few. One of the most reliable method to gain reliable evidences is experiment. randomized controlled trials. Other method mainly used in qualitative studies, ethnography, observation. So we also gain data and evidences from observation. There are other methods, many methods. One of the popular and easy method is survey, conducting surveys among the participants. So survey can be described as systematic method for gathering information from either population or from a subset of population known as sample, representative sample, to describe the characteristic of the population. So when you conduct survey of whether sample or population, the aim is to describe the characteristic of population. In statistics, we call population refers not to persons. In statistics, population refers to entire set of objects under the study. So if we are aiming to study schools, all schools of Bihar, government schools of Bihar, for quality education purpose. What is the teacher-student ratio in those schools? What are the facilities available in these schools? So if we want to assess the quality of schools, government schools in Bihar, then our population is school, not a person, not a teacher, not a student, or not the general population. So in statistics, population refers to all the objects to be studied. So recently, National Family Health Survey (NFHS) released its fact sheet for the survey round 2023-24 NFHS 6. This was sixth round of NFHS. Data collection was over by 2024 December. Analysis was going on, and recently government and IIPS has released the results in the form of fact sheet. The state and India fact sheet has been released, and since the release, I think this release was done in the last week of May, around 30 or 31st May. 1 month has more than 1 month. No, 1 month has gone, and every day you have seen every day in our newspapers, TV programs, or YouTube, independent YouTube channels. They are covering different aspects of development using NFHS data. You have gone through the debates around total fertility rate. Total fertility rate is declining in India. You have also gone through the surge in C-section deliveries in India. How C-section deliveries has gone up, particularly in private hospitals. You have also gone through the figures how immunization has improved in last 10 years, stunting has gone down, and also you have seen that government has not released a few indicators data, including access to clean cooking fuel and access to improved toilet facility. These are two major indicators missing in the facts. So everything these are come in every news related to these findings. What is the unemployment rate in India, or what is the stunting prevalence in India? What is the prevalence or incidence of diseases like cancer in India? Where does these type of data comes from? So ये सारा data आपको आता कहाँ से? The answer is survey. Most of these data comes from survey research methods. While we discuss survey research methods in all research methodology literature, you will find that most of the literature books, research methodology books refer survey as a quantitative method. But as the scope of qualitative methods have improved and gained popularity in last few decades, so people refer the survey. We can do survey in also qualitative research. But in case of qualitative research, when you conduct a survey, that there is a different term. We call them in-depth interview. So while we say survey, lots of meanings are there. Quantitative, you can say survey quantitative भी हो सकता है, qualitative भी हो सकता है, survey of geography भी हो सकता है, survey of anthropology भी हो सकता है, anthropological survey of India. We also call geological survey of India. But when in terms of research method, we say term survey, that refers to a quantitative method where we use a questionnaire to gain information from the population. We will discuss different limitations and strengths of this method little later, but first of all, let's discuss some features of survey method. So survey measures observables and non-observables both. Observables, we can say age, we can say what is the sanitation condition in the household, what are the types of houses, religion, educational status, etc. Where you can easily capture by single responses, you can easily capture the characteristics. If you ask a person who is the head of the household and what is the gender of the head of the household, you can easily capture whether this household is headed by male or female. But there are some non-observable characteristics which cannot be directly captured using survey instruments, survey questionnaires, such as depression. If you want to measure the status of depression among an individual, in an individual, so we cannot directly ask कि आपको डिप्रेशन है क्या, we cannot directly ask कि आप खुश हैं क्या, are you happy, we cannot measure happiness like that. These are not directly observable. We need to develop a scale, a questionnaire, a set of items. In research, item refers to a question item. If we ask कि last 14 days में और last 2 weeks में कभी ऐसा हुआ है कि आपको अपने काम में मन नहीं लग रहा, we can design 10 to 15 questions around the depression. What are the features of depression? What are the characteristics of, what are the symptoms of depression? We can design 15, 16 questions around them. And then we can note the responses against those question items. So there are some non-observable items, characteristics, variables. There are some observable variables. So we can study both using the survey instruments, using the survey as a method. So this captures events, experiences, attitudes, behaviors, opinions, and beliefs. So most of the time when we conduct objective surveys like NFHS, HCES, PLFS, NFHS stands for National Family Health Survey. When I say PLFS, it stands for Periodic Labor Force Survey in India, the key source of employment, unemployment data in India. Then we have Household Consumption Expenditure Survey, the data which is widely used to study the living standard of Indian population in terms of consumption expenditure. We also compute poverty rate, inequality rate. You all have gone through the reports that poverty rate in India has declined to below 5%. And you have also gone through the claims and reports of World Bank claiming that there is high equality in terms of living standard, in terms of consumption expenditure in India, and India ranks at fourth position across globe in terms of socio-economic, so particularly the household consumption expenditure inequality. So all these data are mainly based on objectives, events, experiences. But when you go through the LASI questionnaire, longitudinal aging study in India, some questionnaires, some modules from National Family Health Survey, they also capture attitudes, behaviors, opinions, and beliefs. So survey is used to produce reliable evidence only when respondents accurately reports their status, reports their experiences, attitudes, behavior, etc. So there is a condition. If respondent is not interested, if respondent is not giving the accurate responses, you are asking कि आप खुश हैं 15-20 दिनों से, कितने कितने दिन ऐसे हुए कि आपको मन नहीं लगा आपके काम में, और वो पर्सन आपके पर्सनैलिटी से अफेक्ट हो गया और उसे लग रहा है कि मैं इन्हें क्यों बताऊं, ये मुझे जज करेंगे कि मैं डिप्रेस्ड हूं, फिर ये लोगों को बता देंगे. So they can also not respond correctly. So the condition, the survey is a successful method only when responses accurately represent the reality of participants. So this is the main condition. Yes, okay.
Sorry, sir. Actually, if you can disable annotations on your presentation, then that can be removed. So that will not allow anybody to annotate on your PPT.
Okay.
And we
Can
request
you do
Biswajit,
from your
whoever it
side?
is, please not. Um, I may not be able to do it because it is not available in host tools. Um, I would have, but I request Biswajit, who's the participant, to please not annotate. I can see you. We request you to please not annotate. I'll try, sir, doing it from my side, but I don't think that's a possibility available to me. Um, you can, if you can just press your, uh, if you can just,
Annotate.
if on your presentation slide, if you can just see the three dots and press disable annotation for others, that should be okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I can meanwhile just to prevent it. We request everybody to please not annotate on not here, sir. Like on your Zoom portal, if you can see on your Zoom slide button, which will the sharing status that shows, and in that you'll have others as an
Ah,
option, and there if you choose,
that,
it will show disable annotation. Yeah.
that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. I'm so sorry about
So
this.
no problem. Coming to purposes of survey research, the the main purpose when we conduct survey is to provide estimates about the population characteristics, behaviors, attitude, opinions, events, experiences, or health status about the population. We describe the population using survey research. So what we do, we produce estimates using survey. We all know the idea of sample survey. We have studied statistics, or अगर नहीं भी statistics आपने पढ़ा, so we all know that we cannot afford conducting census again and again for our research questions. Suppose I want to get the prevalence or produce the prevalence of anemia among reproductive age group women, 15 to 49 age group women in India. I cannot afford to conduct anemia testing, blood testing of more than 50 crore women in India. That is impossible, both in terms of money and time. So what we do, we select a representative sample from our target population. We design a survey questionnaire, we design our instrument, we develop our protocols, and then we conduct the data collection part. And on the basis of data obtained only from sample, suppose your target population is 50 crore, your sample size is just 50,000. You have conducted blood samples from 50,000 women across India, selected randomly. So you have data of 50,000 women against the anemia test. Now, if you describe that the characteristic or results of anemia testing only for 50,000 women, that is referred as sample characteristics. That is known as statistic, not statistics. Statistics is study of science of dealing with data or art of dealing with data. And statistic without S is basically estimate or a number defining the characteristic of the sample. So we are dealing with 50,000 women's anemia data, and suppose we estimated, we computed the proportion of women having anemia from 50,000 sample, and we arrived the figure of 60%. 60% women from 50,000 samples are anemic. But this does not reflect the actual scenario in India. Why? Because this is sample characteristic. We have not applied sampling weight. We have not adjusted this with for entire population, and we have not attached or computed the confidence interval for this. So if you convert this into a population estimate coming from sample is known as parameter. So if you want to convert this into a parameter, sample characteristic to parameter, if you want to convert this statistic to parameter, we apply some statistical methodology, and that estimate represents India. So 60% आया सर, और अगर आप उसको इंडिया के लिए इंफरेंस करना चाहते हैं, तो दैट कुड बी 62%, 61%, 63% भी आ सकता है. एग्जैक्टली वो 60% नहीं आएगा. So that is population parameter. Now this population parameter is known as estimate for population. So one of the major purpose of conducting large scale nationally representative surveys is to produce estimates at population level. जब भी we heard about PLFS, HCS, NFHS, all other nationally representative survey, their main purpose is to provide you the estimates of different events, phenomena, characteristics at population level. That is known as level of particular indicator. जैसे हो गया आपका percent population having access to improved sources of drinking water, percent population having access to clean cooking, or percent women who have less than 2 children. Whatever estimate you're producing at India level, those all are coming from survey data. Survey का sample भले कम हो, but you can apply appropriate statistical methods to gain the estimates at national and state level. उसको we will discuss little later कि what are the sample size criteria. Further, we use survey data, survey estimates to compare. Comparison can be done across time or across the spaces or across socio-economic characteristics. For example, you want to compare India's poverty rate. What was the poverty rate in 1999 HCS data? What was poverty rate in 2011 data, and what is in 2023-24 data? So we can use survey to first get the estimates of poverty rate, and then we can compare across time. We can also compare the access to toilet facilities across states in India. We can also compare the prevalence of obesity among male and female. What is prevalence of obesity in rural population versus urban population? You will find clear gap. So we use survey research data to compare groups and trends. Further, by applying advanced statistical statistical techniques, we explain relationship and association between variables. We have some dependent variables, we have some independent variables, and then we try to associate, try to get the magnitude and direction of the relationship, direction of the association. How obesity is linked with consumption of different food items, packaged food. So how child marriage varies across different socio-economic groups. Why child marriage varies across caste, across religion, across women with different education levels. So you can explore these things using survey data. Further, if you want to give a qualitative touch, you can add some open-ended questions, and you can try to get the answer of why and how things are happening, why and how a particular thing is. You can explore why child marriage is occurring in West Bengal, even though total fertility rate is very low in West Bengal. So we can explore such questions by adding few qualitative elements in your study, and you can use survey data to identify those problems. Qualitative research आप जहां भी करते हैं, पहले तो आपको प्रॉब्लम आइडेंटिफाई करना होता है. वो प्रॉब्लम आइडेंटिफाई कैसे करते हैं? We need some quantitative evidences. पता ही नहीं चले कि कहाँ पे चाइल्ड मैरिज का प्रेवलेंस ज्यादा है, कहाँ कम है, तो आप कैसे क्वालिटेटिव सर्वे के लिए आप अपने टारगेट पॉपुलेशन को आइडेंटिफाई करो? हाउ विल यू आइडेंटिफाई कि हमें बिहार में समझना चाहिए, असम में समझना चाहिए कि वहां पे चाइल्ड मैरिज इज हाई क्यों? So for that, we also need evidences from quantitative survey data. And further, we also use survey data to generate evidence for research, policy, planning, program evaluation, and monitoring. NFHS data has been widely used for program evaluation related to public health, like Mission Indradhanush, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, Mission Parivar Vikas. Lots of programs are there which are evaluated using NFHS data. You can also evaluate whether liquor ban has been successful in Bihar or not using NFHS data. So surveys are based on design. Surveys are different types. Cross-sectional study, and longitudinal study. So cross-sectional study collects data from a population or sample at a single point in time. This provides a snapshot of characteristic Imagine this like a still photograph coming from camera. एक बार में एक जगह को आपने कैप्चर किया, एक कैरेक्टरिस्टिक को, एक पॉपुलेशन को आपने कैप्चर किया. And cross-sectional studies are widely used to produce prevalences, proportions, means, and comparing groups for one point of time. Examples are National Family Health Survey, cross-sectional study. Although it is repeated over the period of time, almost 5-6 years के interval पे इसको repeat करते हैं, but every time samples are different. NFHS does not represent same sample every time. All the figures are representative at the state level, district level, and India level, national level, but participants are different. That's why this is known as a cross-sectional study. Most of this studies are cross-sectional in nature. आप PhD thesis के लिए जो सर्वे करते हैं, वो भी 100% surveys are almost cross-sectional. एक ही बार आप. Then we have longitudinal study, when you collect data from the same individual, same population repeatedly. So that is known as longitudinal study. Example is longitudinal aging study in India. Same participants or same households are or same population is repeated over the period of time. Last wave one was conducted 2017-18. Last is 10 for longitudinal aging study in India. Again, a survey that is conducted by International Institute for Population Sciences, Mumbai. And this is one of the largest longitudinal aging study across the world in terms of sample size. So this collects data from the same individual, same population repeatedly, track changes, trends, and transition. Benefit of using longitudinal surveys, you can track changes, trends, and transitions more precisely and accurately. You will ask, why cannot we change? Why cannot we track the changes using NFHS data? We can do it. We can compare the estimates of 2015-16 with 2019-20. But when you conduct two surveys, PLFS, for example, PLFS, periodic labor force survey, conducted every year, 2017-18 में भी हुआ, 2018-19 में हुआ. So if survey is conducted in consecutive years, and then you compare the estimates coming from PLFS, suppose unemployment rate 2017-18 में 4% था और 18-19 में it was 4.5%. Just imagine, assume कर लीजिए. You will say कि 0.5% का change हुआ है. Is it correct? No, this cannot be correct. This change or this difference can be just due to different sample design. Sorry, different samples. This is due to randomness of sample selection. जब आप randomly select करते हैं samples को, तो उसमें थोड़ा बहुत characteristic का estimate जो statistic है वो vary करेगा. And that variation is just due to random selection of samples. हो सकता है कि NFHS 2015-16 में 6 लाख वीमेन का इंटरव्यू हुआ, उनकी जगह किसी और 6 लाख वीमेन का इंटरव्यू होता सेम साल में, तो एनीमिया का प्रेवलेंस 60% की जगह 64% आ जाता. So this variation is known as the variation due to randomness of sample. But when you conduct a longitudinal study, same participant is observed again and again, and you computed unemployment rate, so you can compare that. Confidence interval will be less, difference will be more precise. तो अगर 4.4 था unemployment rate in 2017-18 and 2018-19 में it was 4.1 or 4.5 even using a longitudinal aging study, longitudinal survey. So that difference is actual, that difference is real, and that is not just due to randomness of samples, because we have surveyed same individual over the period of time, or twice in 2017-18 as well as 2018-19. Okay, I will take some more time. I know this session is scheduled only for 1 hour, but please allow me to take some time because I am explaining and from basics to those who are new to statistics. They will also gain some information. So this is the reason why we. Thank you, Akash. So this is the reason in PLFS, some part of sample is repeated over the time. Revisits are done across samples. In urban area, revisits are done. 3 revisits are done to all households. So all households in urban areas were visited first time and then revisited 3 more times. The famous example of longitudinal aging studies, are lastly longitudinal aging study in India, IIPS, India Human Development Survey. 3 waves has been done. Data in public, we have put 2 waves, IIPS 1 and 2. Third wave data is not released. So there are three types of major types of longitudinal survey. First could be trend studies, time series, which examines changes within a population over time. Suppose you have census data or you have GDP growth rate or GDP data over the period of time from RBI. Cohort studies examine over time specific subpopulation or cohorts, but not necessarily the same individuals. So in longitudinal aging study in India, all 45 plus target population is 45 plus population in India. All older adults of age 45 and above and their spouse irrespective of age. Okay, this is the target population. The samples are selected only 45 plus sample and their spouses for detailed interviews. But when the second wave will occur, in the second wave, those who have not participated in first wave and they are of age 45 plus, so they might be also selected for the investigation. And those who are participant in wave 1, they will be also interviewed. So there will be new participants as well and old participants as well. So both the participants are there. That's why these surveys are known longitudinal cohort studies or longitudinal studies. And what is difference between longitudinal study and panel study? Basically, cohort study here is longitudinal only, and panel is a subset of longitudinal studies. So in panel studies, same participants are studies repeated. Same participants. For example, in wave 1, suppose 73,000 persons of age 45 and above were interviewed. So after 5 years, suppose 60,000 are alive or available for interview, not migrate. Only 60,000 will be. No new participant will. So these kind of studies are known as panels, where sample remains same over the period of time. No new entries. Some common features of surveys. Typically, individuals are the unit of analysis. So individual can be person, can be household, and can be an institution also, a community also. Individuals referred to as respondents provide data by responding to questions. The research instruments used to gather data is often referred to questionnaire or schedule. Questionnaire and interview schedules collect standardized information. Same questionnaire standard for uniform questionnaire is used for all samples, and questionnaires are used to elicit information to be used in analysis. So how selection is made? The main question arises on how to select the sample. So there are 2 ways to select the sample. One is probability sampling and one is non-probability sampling. There is a difference of purpose and there is a difference of resources also. When your aim is to produce population parameters, when your aim is to produce estimates representative at population level, at state level, district level, or at India level, then you must conduct probability sampling. Samples should be selected using random sampling method. Statistical methods you have to apply to select the samples. So selection is based on randomization. Each unit has a non-zero probability of being selected. There are some methods we'll discuss little later, very briefly. Then we produces representative samples, which is subset of population and allows statistical inferences. So if you are selecting samples using probability sampling, then you can apply statistical techniques, regression analysis, everything you can apply. If your population is coming from random sampling, then only you can apply t-test, ANOVA. वैसे तो आपने सुना होगा कि हम PhD में प्रोबेबिलिटी सैम्पलिंग नहीं भी करते हैं तो भी एनोवा लगा दिया, टी-टेस्ट लगा दिया, लगा तो देते हैं, but ideally, theoretically, we can apply these techniques only to the samples drawn randomly from the population. So there is a difference of purpose. Your purpose is to estimate parameters. Your purpose is to get representative figures. Then you have to apply probability sampling. Your purpose is to apply advanced statistical techniques. Then you should apply probability sampling. But your purpose is to gain some insights for a phenomena occurring in a community or in a particular population, target population, then you cannot afford doing probability sampling, random sampling. Sample frames are not available. What is sample frame? Sample frame is list of all members to be studied in a survey. So first of all, you need to get the list of all the participants who are eligible, all the members of target population, all the households in India. Suppose you are planning to conduct National Family Health Survey, your own National Family Health Survey, you need the list of all households in India, or you need the list of all villages in India. You select some villages and then go to those villages and select household. Make the list of all households in those villages and select households randomly. So this is the procedure. We cannot afford this. If we do not have enough resources in terms of human resources, monetary resources, time resource, we cannot afford this. So what we do non-probability sampling. Selection depends on researchers' purpose, accessibility, availability of resources. Probability of selection is unknown. We do not include any statistical probability, etc. And this is useful mainly for exploratory research when you try to answer why and how. So it is used in qualitative surveys or hard to reach population. Yeah, if you want to study, even if you want to conduct a random study of probability sampling based study of drug mafias, where you will get the list of all drug mafias. Kabhi possible nahi. In that case, you need to do snowball sampling. You should get the list of all drug mafias in a particular community. And then you apply the random sampling. तो पहले आपको snowball sampling से you should get the complete list and then you have to apply random sampling. So that is known as another type of network sampling. That is a combination of both probability and non-probability. So we can have combination of both. We can have independent. So what is simple random sampling? So all participants, all uniques have equal probability of getting selected in the sample. So suppose this is a population, target population, and you have used random number or random number using this lucky draw or computerized random number to select these participants. You have suppose list of all members from voter list. All persons eligible for voting in a community. You have list of all citizens from a community or constituency who are eligible to vote in a particular election, and if you want to select them for exit poll sampling or exit poll survey, तो वहां से you can do the random sampling. or you have the telephone directory सबका थोड़ी देर के मान लीजिए एक विलेज में सबका फोन नंबर है आपके पास, तो you can afford doing random sampling. But you cannot try this at state level, district level when your aim is to get estimates at national level. This is not possible. Best method is simple random sampling. But this method is not affordable because sampling frame list of all members from target population is not available. सैम्पलिंग करने से पहले आपको आपके टारगेट पॉपुलेशन के की पूरी लिस्ट चाहिए, उसमें जितने मेंबर्स हैं जितने यूनिट्स हैं उसकी पूरी लिस्ट चाहिए. वो अगर नहीं है तो वी कैन नॉट अफोर्ड सिंपल रैंडम सैम्पलिंग. सेकेंड थिंग, सिंपल रैंडम सैम्पलिंग के साथ इशू ये है कि सपोज एक स्टेट में आपने सिंपल रैंडम सैम्पलिंग करके कुछ वीमेन को इंटरव्यू के लिए सेलेक्ट किया है. एक वीमेन विलेज ए से आ गई, एक दूसरी वीमेन जो है वो विलेज बी से आई हैं और ए और बी के बीच का डिस्टेंस है 200 किलोमीटर. We cannot afford doing such in terms of time and resource. So simple random sampling is avoided if your aim is to produce representative estimates for large areas. Then there is a method systematic random sampling. This is an alternative of simple random sampling. Suppose there are 200 households in a village, and you have to select only 20 households. So divide 200 by 20, get interval. Interval will be 10. So if you are dividing 200 by 20, interval will be 10. So within first 10 households, select one household randomly, and then after add 10 to get another house. So suppose first household, we have randomly selected fifth house. So within 10 first households, we have selected first household randomly, that is fifth household, then add 10 to get second sample, 15th household. Add 10 to get third sample, 25th household, like that. So this is systematic random sampling. But if your aim is to get some estimates which is also representative across groups, and the composition of groups in your target population is not homogeneous. Women are not 50%, men are not 50%, all caste are not equal 25%, ऐसे नहीं है. SC भी 25%, ST भी 25%, OBC 25%, none 25%, ये भी composition नहीं है. But your aim is to study intercaste marriage. So in such cases, you need representative sample not only in terms of at area level, but also in terms of caste groups. So first of all, you will group your population, target population, into different strata. Strata basically mean group based on socio-economic characteristics. So suppose I am moving the cursor, this orange color में जो आपको pictogram दिख रहे हैं. So suppose these belong to SC community, these belong to ST community, and these belong to OBC community, or these belong to SC plus ST, this OBC, and this is for none of them. And the share of their share in population is 33%, 33%, 33%. So we will select 33% sample from this group, 33% sample from this group, and 33% sample from this group. Suppose their composition is 20%, 20%, and 60%. Our sample composition will be also 20% from this group, 20% from second group, and 60% from third group. Okay, corresponding. Then the fourth type of probability sampling is cluster sampling. So every time we cannot afford getting the list of individuals. So best way is select area. So if you group the areas, groups are made on the basis of area. So that is known as cluster. So first of all, you select, get the list of all villages in Bihar, and then select few villages for the survey. Right? And you conduct the survey of all individuals from those villages. That is cluster sampling. But none of these are used practically in large scale nationally representative surveys. In nationally representative surveys, we prefer to use multi-stage stratified random sampling. It's just combination of these four sampling designs, and we do sampling at different stages. Let me explain with the example of periodic labor force survey. We have less time, so I will move थोड़ा तेजी से मैं एक्सप्लेन करता हूँ, बहुत डिटेल में नहीं जाएंगे. So this chart I have borrowed from Medium, which is written by an ISS officer. I will put the link little later. Or you can search on Medium periodic labor force करके कुछ आपको दिखे. मैं आपको लिंक भेज दूंगा कस्फ इनिशिएटिव को, they can share with you. So this is the sampling design of rural sample selection in India, PLFS, periodic labor force survey, conducted during 2017 and 2024. 2025 onwards, they have slightly changed the sampling design. Okay. So this is for 2017 to 2024 sample selection method. So and particularly for rural sample selection. For urban, there is a different approach, slightly different. So let me explain multi-stage stratified random sampling used in NFHS, PLFS, SCS, etc. Across all these surveys, these stages are slightly different, but broadly they can categorize under multi-stage stratified random sampling. So what is this? Let's discuss with this sample. तो इंडिया लेवल पे सैंपल्स को कैसे सेलेक्ट करते हैं रूरल सैंपल पीएलएफएस में? फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, इंडिया इज डिवाइडेड इनटू 87 or 88. I do not exactly remember total number of NSS regions in India. Around 88 है, plus minus 2 हो सकता है. So there are 88 NSS regions in India, National Sample Survey region, created based on similar agroclimatic conditions. So, and these NSS regions are created within states, not across states. So in Bihar, there are two NSS regions, North Bihar and South Bihar. North Bihar is north in the north of Ganges, and South Bihar is in the south of Ganga River. So total 88, around 88 NSS regions are there, and sampling is done at NSS region level. So estimates could be representative at NSS region level. Sometimes people ask me or others, can we compute estimates of unemployment rate, labor force participation rate at district level? The simple answer is no, because sample is not representative at district level. It is representative at NSS region level. Minimum representation level is NSS region. So you can compute estimates at NSS region level, at state level, at national level, but not at district level. So total number of districts is more than 700 in India. NSS regions are only around 88. More than, even smaller state form only one NSS region, like Meghalaya only one NSS, Tripura only one NSS. Right? So in India there are around 88 NSS regions. Sampling is done at NSS region level. So suppose there is NSS region level 2, region 2. Now let's discuss this region में कैसे, or let's discuss the example of North Bihar. North Bihar is a NSS region. You can say broadly this is Mithila region. Mithilanchal, मैथिली बोलते हैं. So North Bihar is a NSS region, or we have to divide this North Bihar NSS region into two parts: rural area, villages, and urban areas. Identify urban inundation blocks or urban wards. So we will separate all villages and all urban wards, all urban residential areas and rural residential areas. So NSS region is divided into urban and rural residences. Now within urban, we will not discuss urban. Within rural, we obtain the list of all villages from census 2011, and that serves as sampling frame. So suppose we have get the list of all villages for North Bihar from census 2011, and we also get some more information like what is the percent SC/ST population, percent female literacy, what was the total number of households, what was the total population in 2011. So we get some more information along the list of villages. And if a village has less than 40 households, we merge that village with a nearby village, nearby in terms of geography. So we merge that. So we have finally the list of all villages having more than 40 plus households as per the census 2011. And these villages are divided into 8 sub-strata. These 8 sub-stratums are created. Sub-stratums means subgroups. So all the villages are divided into 8 subgroups based on their population size. They are arranged in ascending order, and then probability proportion to size sampling selection method is applied to select these villages across the substratum. What is PPS sampling? Probability proportion to size. The villages having higher population, larger population, have higher chance of being selected in the sample, and villages with less population are less likely to be selected in the final sample. So we have 8 substratum. Then within a substratum, we obtain the list of all villages. Okay? And at least 8 villages are selected for further procedure. So at least 8 villages are selected, or in terms of in multiples of 8 are selected, either 8 or 16 or 13. Why we do this, or PLFS or NSS does this? Because employment conditions in India is mainly related to agricultural conditions, climatic conditions, highly affected by seasonal variations. So households or villages and samples are evenly distributed across different quarters of the year. So 8 villages are obtained, and those 8 villages are divided into 4 groups: Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. At least 8 villages. So that 2 will belong to village quarter 1, 2 will belong to quarter 2, 2 will be surveyed in quarter 3, and 2 will be surveyed in quarter. Now within each quarter, villages are divided into 2 subsamples. Subsample 1, subsample 2. Why we take at least 2 villages in a quarter, so that we can divide those villages into 2 subsamples. At least one village belonging to subsample 1, at least one village belonging to subsample 2. Now we have subsamples. Subsamples are basically villages. Yeah. So suppose there is a village Rampur in North Bihar that has been selected. Now the PLFS team visit to the Rampur village, makes visit to this Rampur village, and they contact with different knowledgeable persons from this village, mainly officials and senior teachers, in order to get an estimate about total number of households and population in the country. If total number of households and population is larger than a threshold, say population is more than 500 or 600, so village is divided into different hamlet groups, and 2 hamlet groups are selected for further process. One hamlet group is selected, which is the largest hamlet group, that is selected automatically. And the second, if there are more than 2 hamlet groups, the second one is selected using random sample. Suppose Rampur में 4 wards, सब में 200-200 के आसपास हाउस पॉपुलेशन, एक में 300 है, बाकी में 200, 800, 800, तो 300 वाले को ऑटोमेटिकली सेलेक्ट कर मिलेंगे लार्जेस्ट हेमलेट. बाकी बच गए 3 हेमलेट, 200 पॉपुलेशन, 100 पॉपुलेशन, 100 पॉपुलेशन. लकी ड्रॉ से आप उसको रेंडमली एक को सेलेक्ट करेंगे, सिंपल रैंडम सैंपलिंग यूज कर. नाउ यू हैव फाइनली either village, if the village has population less than 600, पॉपुलेशन है या हाउसहोल्ड है, आई डू नॉट रिमेम्बर एग्जैक्टली, आप लोग चेक कर लीजिएगा. दिस थ्रेशोल्ड इज डिफरेंट फॉर इवन फॉर प्लेन एरिया एंड हिली एरिया. और ये पॉपुलेशन है या हाउसहोल्ड है 600, आई डू नॉट रिमेम्बर एग्जैक्टली, वो आपने चेक कर लीजिएगा. तो विलेज सेलेक्ट हो गया, हेमलेट ग्रुप सेलेक्ट. दिस इज नॉन एज फर्स्ट स्टेज ऑफ सिलेक्शन, where we obtained the list of all villages. We categorize them into different groups based on some criteria, mainly on the basis of population and number of household criteria. And then we selected few villages using PPSMP, probability proportion to size. So in first stage, we select villages. List of villages is available. We selected villages. Now, within these selected villages, the surveyors visit the villages and prepare the complete list of households at the time of survey. So they prepare the complete list of households only in selected villages, and that serves as the sampling frame for second stage. Now you have complete list of households. Then you can apply simple random sampling, systematic random sampling, or stratified random sampling to select a fixed number of households or a desired number of households from that village. In NFHS, 20 to 23 households, 20 to 22 households are selected per village, per selected village. Households are selected, 20 to 22 households are selected per village in NFHS. But in PLFS, stratification is done at second stage also. फर्स्ट स्टेज में स्ट्रेटिफिकेशन किया गया, विलेजेस को उनकी साइज के बेसिस पे 8 ग्रुप्स में डिवाइड किया गया था. ठीक है. यहाँ सेकेंड स्टेज में हाउसहोल्ड्स में ये पता किया जाता है कि आपके हाउसहोल्ड में कितने लोग 10+ ईयर्स ऑफ एजुकेशन लेके बैठे हैं, कितने लोगों की स्कूलिंग, कितने ऐसे लोग हैं इस हाउसहोल्ड में दोज हु हैव अटेंडेड एटलीस्ट 10 और मोर ईयर्स ऑफ स्कूलिंग. So at the time of listing of all the households, they also collect information about how many persons or members in this household have obtained at least 10 years of school. So on the basis of this variable, they categorizes all the household into 3 groups in rural areas. In urban areas, 4 groups. So in rural areas, they club all the household into 3 groups. They make 3 groups. SSS1, this is second stage, state of 1. So these are the households with two or more members having secondary level of education. 2 or more members. If the household has 2 or more members with education level 10 or more, matriculation or more, so they belong to this SSS1. Then we have SSS2. This is again a group of households, those households where only one member has obtained 10 or more years of schooling. And finally, we have SSS3, second stage, stratum number 3. This is again a group of households from the same village, but this includes only those households where there is not a single member having 10 or more years of schooling. Now, from all these stratum, second stage stratum, 1 or 2 households are selected for the interview. If the Hamlet group was created, within the village, so 1 household per Hamlet group is selected from SSS1, 2 households per Hamlet is selected from SSS2, and 1 household is selected from SSS3. If Hamlet group was not created, village was not further divided, population was below threshold, then 2 households are selected from SSS1, 4 from SSS2, and 2 from SSS3. So in both the scenarios, from one village, 8 households are selected. So this is multi-stage stratified random sampling. This is how large-scale nationally representative surveys are done. Now there are some methods of non-probability sampling. So when we try to answer how, why, or we cannot afford probability sampling, mainly during our PhD thesis, we conduct primary surveys. Most of the surveys are in nature non-probability sampling. So there are famous methods for passive sampling. When you have a particular purpose, you want to include a sample due to some purpose. You want to exclude a sample due to some purpose. Suppose you want to conduct a study to explore the impact of flood on multi-dimensional poverty in North Bihar or Darbhanga district. So you cannot afford going all blocks. So you will select 2 blocks purposely. 1 block highly affected and one block relatively less affected by. So you have some purposes. You can include on the basis of purpose. That's why it's known as purposive sampling. Then second is convenience sampling. Suppose you want to conduct a study about the use of mobile phones among the graduate students or among undergraduate students of Delhi University, Hindu College, Stevens College, Hansraj College. कहीं गेट पे आप पहुंच के अपना क्वेश्चनर लेके, जब वहां पे ज्यादा बच्चे निकल रहे हैं आप खड़े हो जाइए और जो आपको प्यार से मिल गया उसका आप इंटरव्यू कर लीजिए. तो दिस इज नॉन एज कन्वीनियंस है. सुविधा के अनुसार आपने सैंपलिंग कर ली, जो भी प्यार से मिला हम उसी के हो ली. ये वाली सैंपलिंग डिजाइन आपने यूज करी. दिस इज नॉन एज कन्वीनियंस है. देन वी हैव स्नोबॉल सैंपलिंग. जब आपकी टारगेट पॉपुलेशन इज रेयर, suppose you want to conduct an interview or study of drug mafias, ठीक है, तो कैसे पता चलेगा? एक से दूसरे का पता चले. कोई आपको जनरल पॉपुलेशन में या कहीं पे वेबसाइट पे आपको लिस्ट नहीं मिल जाएगी. इफ यू कॉन्टेक्ट वन ड्रग माफिया, so he or she will give you the contact of another. The second one will give you the contact of the third one, and so on. So in this way, you can afford snowballs. And finally, quota sampling, which is widely used for exit polls. So ये political opinions और election polls करते हैं, इसमें quota sampling use करते हैं. इसमें there is a target from different groups. मेल इतना इंटरव्यू करना है, फीमेल इतना करना है, एक कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी एरिया से इतने बूथ्स कवर करने हैं एटलीस्ट. So you have to achieve a fixed number of predefined number of targets. Now coming to what determines sample size. Once you have defined sampling strategy, you need to compute sample size. Sample size varies across studies. We cannot can I explain how sample sizes are computed in this survey? Yes, please.
Yes, sir. Even though we acknowledge that yes, it's too detailed and too important for us, but if we can just request you to sum it up, like summarize it up in say maybe next 10 to 15 minutes, and then we can follow it up with a more detailed session later on because we have some time limitation and we are also looking forward to take some questions from the participants. So if that is not a problem with you, then we can go ahead in this manner.
Sure, sure. I will try to conclude
Thank
this
you
in
so
10
much.
to 15
Thank you so much.
minutes. So sample size depends on different things. First one is population variability. If your population, target population is more heterogeneous, less homogeneous, so you require more sample size. Number of subgroups are large, then you need more sample. If expected prevalence, suppose you are studying a disease or phenomena whose prevalence is very rare, whose occurrence is very rare, then again you need a large sample. So sample size depends on many factors, including population variability, number of subgroups, expected prevalence, desired precision, and confidence level. कि आपको कितना कॉन्फिडेंस चाहिए आपके एस्टीमेट में. What should be the width of your confidence interval? What should be the accuracy and precision of your estimate? So that is also factor. अगर precision बढ़ाना है, you need to increase your sample size. Now, once you have decided sampling states, you have selected your samples, and you have computed your sample size, and you have selected your samples. Then you need to construct a questionnaire. So first of all, you need to identify your objectives clearly, operationalize your measurables. Whatever you are going to measure, please operationalize that first. Suppose you want to measure happiness, so you should operationalize how will you measure happiness. सीधे तो नहीं पूछ लेंगे कि आप खुश हैं क्या, ऐसे नहीं चलेगा, या आप डिप्रेस्ड हैं क्या, नहीं. You should, है ना, develop a set of items. You should develop a scale to measure or to measure the construct. So we operationalize your concept, then collect standardized information from all respondents for comparison and analysis. Standard should be the same standard should be followed, and then you have to align with research objectives. Use clear, simple, unbiased wordings. Questions should not be double barreled और negative way में पूछा जाना नहीं चाहिए. एक साथ दो questions आप मत पूछिए, है ना. Then you should also avoid leading questions. Most important, you must conduct pilot testing of your questionnaire. And pilot testing मतलब हुआ कि आप फील्ड में जाइए, कुछ रैंडमली लोगों से उस क्वेश्चन को यूज करके डेटा कलेक्ट करिए, and then try to analyze data, try to explore that data, whether that data coming from pilot survey is serving your purpose or not, serving your objective or not. And then you can do some modification before going to this final survey. So data, then you have to do data collection. Data collection, there are different methods. Face-to-face interview using PAPI, PAPI. PAPI refers to pen and paper interview. So NFHS, till NFHS 3, National Family Health Survey 3, or till 2015, even NSS had used paper pen mode for data collection. 2015, afterwards, most of the surveys, national representative surveys, or even PhD students or independent organization, NGO, they are conducting surveys using laptop or this tab, using computer assisted personal interview, CAPI. Benefit of using CAPI is you need not to do separate exercise of data entry. You can directly get data in tabular form. You can have data in real time on your control room or at your server. So suppose data collection is going on in the field, and NFHS team, core team is getting data in real time at control room in IIPS. And they are able to analyze that data in order to get कोई inconsistency तो नहीं है, कहीं ऐसा तो नहीं हो रहा है कि सर्वेयर्स अपने हिसाब से फिल कर रहे हैं। एनएफएचएस में क्या होता है, हर एक बच्चा जो 5 साल से कम उम्र का है उसके लिए मदर्स को 30-35 एक्स्ट्रा क्वेश्चंस पूछे जाते हैं हर बच्चे के लिए जो 5 साल से कम। अगर एक एक वीमेन का 2 बच्चा है मान के चलिए और दोनों की उम्र है आपको 5 साल से कम, तो वो 35 क्वेश्चन 40 क्वेश्चन 2 बार पूछे जाएंगे दोनों बच्चों के लिए अलग अलग। तो सर्वेयर्स क्या कर सकते हैं कि एक बच्चे की उम्र 5 साल से बढ़ा देंगे, 5 साल 6 महीना कर, 5 साल 4 महीने, क्यों? तो 40 क्वेश्चन उनको पूछना नहीं पड़ेगा। तो ऐसा कोई इंटरव्यूअर बार बार कर रहा है तो ये आपके फील्ड चेक टेबल्स कंट्रोल रूम में पैटर्न उभर के आ जाएगा, एंड यू कैन एनालाइज दैट पैटर्न एंड यू कैन कॉन्टैक्ट योर सुपरवाइजर इन दैट एरिया, यहाँ पे कुछ तो गड़बड़ हो रहा है, आप देख लीजिए। देन टेलीफोन सर्वेस, large scale nationally representative survey, they avoid telephone surveys, but for है ना primary surveys and political surveys, marketing surveys, telephone survey is widely used. In during the COVID-19 PLFS revisits के लिए भी टेलीफोन का यूज किया गया था। Then we have self-administered surveys. Suppose you want to get some information about this session or further sessions you are planning from your participants, so you can share a questionnaire with them using email or WhatsApp, and so they can fill their own and as per their own convenience. So those questionnaires are known as self-administered surveys. Now respondents, who respond to the questions. So select the right respondent, interview the person most knowledgeable about the topic. Suppose you want to conduct a survey of household characteristics, household amenities. You want to get some basic socio-demographic information about all the members of the household before doing in-depth interviews of women, eligible women. You want to get some idea about all the members of the household. NFHS में household questionnaire होता है, अब सारे मेंबर तो उसको रिस्पॉन्ड नहीं करेंगे, तो उसके लिए NFHS finds a knowledgeable person in the household, head of the household mainly, जो आगे आकर के इन सबका आंसर करते हैं। You have to find that. उसके बाद डायरेक्ट वर्सेस proxy responses. Sometimes you also want to get some information about children, they cannot participate, mothers report on behalf of them, or you want to get information about elderly who are bedridden, ill and not able to respond, so they need some proxy. Very important. I will skip some slides, but I cannot afford to skip this slide. While conducting surveys or any research method, we must take care of ethical concerns. There are some key pointers we must take care of. First is informed consent. Participants should be voluntary. Participation should be voluntary with clear information on the study's purpose, risks, and rights. Then protect respondents' identity and ensure secure handling of personal data with confidentiality and anonymity. Do not harm, minimize psychological, social, or physical risk. Handle sensitive questions with care. In NFHS, they ask some questions related to domestic violence, but they ensure कि domestic violence survey होने से पहले women के पास कोई और बैठी ना और कोई और बैठा ना। वो वीमेन इंटरव्यू देते वक्त इंटरव्यूअर के साथ, जो कि वीमेन ही होती है इंटरव्यूअर भी, वो वीमेन अकेली है जो इंटरव्यू दे। रिस्पोंडेंट मस्ट बी अलोन विद द इंटरव्यू। इफ समवन एल्स इज सिटिंग, उनको मतलब वो नहीं मना पाए हैं एकांत करने के लिए, तो इन दैट सिनेरियो they will not ask those questions और सर्वे वहीं पे खत्म हो जाएगा। Then responsible use of findings, use data only for stated purpose, provide referral or support when surveys reveal serious health or safety concerns. जैसे NFHS में if someone is identified as HIV positive, test is done for HIV. So if someone is identified as HIV positive, so they refer them to the nearest hospital, government hospital. So based on your findings, please update your participants if it is beneficial. Now coming to analysis part, once you have collected data, you need to do the analysis. There are some steps, let me briefly explain them. So clearly define the indicator or outcome variable in line with, I have explained this in terms of NFHS, DHS. So you can replace DHS, NFHS with any survey. Clearly define the indicator or outcome variable in line with survey definition and analytical guidelines. Suppose you want to compute the prevalence of child marriage. How will you define the child marriage in order to get the current prevalence, recent trends? So child marriage is defined as percentage women of age group 20 to 24 who were married before age 18. Percentage of women of age group 20 to 24 married before age 18. So you should have a clear definition of your indicator or construct you are going to compute. Identify the and restrict the denominator population. You have to define the universe, denominator, total population, eligible population for this computation. Then you have to construct and recode your numerator variable. Then you have to decide how you are going to handle the missing values, do not know, etc. options. Then you have to apply appropriate sampling weight to get the estimate. If you do not apply sampling weight, you will get the characteristic of sample, not population. You will not get population parameter estimates for India or states. For that, you need to apply sampling weight if you are using probability sampling drawn data. Then, if you want to compute confidence interval, etc., standard errors, etc., you need to further apply advanced statistical techniques. Software data may we have survey package in R, we have survey library. You can use those libraries to produce standard error and confidence interval for sampling design used by this survey. So these surveys, if you compute directly confidence interval using a simple syntax, so they will return you the confidence interval, assuming that your data is coming from simple random sampling. But in most of the case, data does not come from simple random sampling. It comes from multi-stage stratified random sampling. So you need to tell your software that data is coming from this survey, this is design. So they will adjust confidence interval for that. There are different types of validity and reliability. I will not discuss this in detail. Further, you should also take care of biases. Interviewer bias. Biases are non-sampling errors. Errors beyond sampling. अगर सैम्पलिंग गलत की है तो आपका एस्टीमेट तो गलत आएगा, लेकिन उसके बियॉन्ड भी कुछ एरर्स हो सकते हैं. इंटरव्यूअर बायस है ना, इंटरव्यूअर से अफेक्ट हो गए है ना. देन रेस्पोंडेंट बायस बता नहीं रहे हैं है ना. देन वी हैव रिकॉल बायस. यू आर आस्किंग अबाउट लास्ट 5 ईयर में कोई डेथ हुआ आपके घर में, लास्ट 5 ईयर में आप कितनी बार हॉस्पिटल गए, तो संभव नहीं है बताना. या हाउस होल्ड कंजप्शन एक्सपेंडिचर में ही अगर आपसे पूछा जाए कि लास्ट 1 साल में आपके घर में कितना गेहूं, wheat, how much kilogram of wheat has been consumed in last 1 year. So that is not an appropriate recall period for wheat consumption or rice consumption. उसके लिए 7 days will be enough. 30 दिन भी अफोर्ड कर सकते. 365 दिन साल भर का आपको कोई सही नहीं बताएगा कितना कंज्यूम. Then there is a social desirability bias. Respondents answer in a way that will viewed favorably by others. Finally, there are some strengths and there are some weakness like other methods. So strength is you can get population level insights using survey method, only method that provide you estimates, patterns, trends, determinants at a representative level, at population level. You can generalize your finding, although you are surveying only 50,000 women, but on the basis of those 50,000 women, you can make inferences about total population of India. You can get national estimates. Then efficient and scalable, can collect data from thousands of respondents quickly and cost effectively. Surveys are less time taking exercises. Standardized and comparable uniform questions are asked to all participants. You can compare their results. If the different surveys have been conducted across different countries, like DHS, Demographic Health Survey, conduct surveys across different countries, 95 plus countries, and same type of question, 90% questions are same. They use same type of standard question. I think you can compare the results with different countries, different population. So these are the benefits of surveys. And there are some weakness. The limited context explain what happens, how much, how many, but does not answer why or how. And for that, you need a qualitative in-depth interview. We call that also survey, but technically that is not survey, that is in-depth interview. Inflexible design questions cannot easily be changed once data collection begins. Then response bias. So these methods, survey methods include answers may be influenced by memory, social desirability, or interview situations. Simplifies complex realities. This is another weakness. Construct is a complex construct, and you ask simple 3-4 questions to measure that construct. तो वो आप जब तक उनसे सब्जेक्टिव वे में बात नहीं करेंगे तो निकल के नहीं आएगा. आप पूछ लो डिप्रेशन के लिए आप 4-5 क्वेश्चन पूछ लीजिएगा, आपका मन लगा काम में कि नहीं लगा, आप कहीं घूमने जाते हैं कि नहीं, दोस्तों से मिलते हैं कि नहीं, इस तरह से 4-5 क्वेश्चन आप पूछ के यू कैन नॉट एग्जैक्टली डिसाइड कि इनको डिप्रेशन है कि नहीं. यू कैन नॉट गो इनटू दैट. Also, this survey method is less suitable for historical or process-oriented research. And finally, this is weak for sensitive or complex topics, as I explained. These are the survey, you can say these are the steps, these are the questions you must ask yourself before doing a survey research method, before applying a survey research methods. I will not leave this, I'm leaving this to you. Thank you for joining. If anyone has any doubt, any question, you can ask them.
Thank you so much, sir. It had been really, really insightful. Even I could learn so many new things which I was completely unaware of. Thank you so much. Now we open the floor for discussion. You may please feel free to type your questions here. Alternatively, you may raise your hands and ask your questions directly. So we have a question by Sanjana Soni. What methods or tools can be used to analyze the qualitative data? Although this session is focused around quantitative data, but we are, I am thinking that what she intends to ask is how do we quantitatively analyze qualitative data? Like once we have qualitative data, what are the tools that can be used to make sense out of it? Is that what you're asking, Sanjana? So if you would want to answer it.
Yes. So if you want to analyze qualitative data in quantitative way, you have options to use content analysis. You have different softwares like Atlas TI, you have NVivo, so you can afford doing that. But if you want to make interpretations in the way we do with quantitative analysis, so that will not be correct in case of qualitative. Suppose you are suggesting based on your qualitative study, you are suggesting that 30% women have faced domestic violence. So that is not a good interpretation. You cannot generalize your findings coming from a non-probability sampling design data. So you should use qualitative methods. Both are different methods, purpose are different. So when you are conducting a qualitative research, describe some characteristics, but say that these are sample characteristics. These are not population characteristics. First thing to be taken care. Second thing, you should investigate mainly in terms of why and how. You should not focus on what, how many, how much, like. So this will be my straightforward answer. We can have a different session on qualitative research from eligible resource person. So we will enlighten more or see.
Yeah, just to flag here, we did have a session, sir, and I have put a YouTube link for that session with Professor Sundari Anita, and it was a very good session. So I would recommend anybody who has that question to please go and look at that YouTube recording. It's a very, very useful session. It was very useful and very descriptive. So, and thank you for so much for your response that you had given just now. So I hope.
Thank you so much, sir. Any questions? Meanwhile, I would like to ask a question, sir. So while
Yes.
working with large data sets, there are many field investigators, right? So how do we maintain data quality while working with multiple field investigators because they may be having their own biases? So like, do we train them in a certain way before they go to fields or how does it go?
Yes, they are well trained before going to fields. In case of NFHS, there are more than 14, 15 field agencies. So first of all, some resource persons from those agencies are trained by principal investigators of the NFHS, and then they train all the investigators, field level investigators, interviewers. So training of trainers is done first, and those who are trained at IIPS or by principal investigators, they further trains to investigators. And there is manual survey. So all interviewers go through those manuals in case they in case they face any problem or any unique thing in the field, so they can contact service supervisor, which is appointed by IIPS, and they always remain in contact with IIPS principal investigators of National Family Health Service. Same thing is applied in all cases, all NSS survey. In NSS surveys, so far they have not involved private agency. They have starting procedures to involve private agency, but so far they have not involved. Only government employees are there, so they are well trained because they do surveys again and again, and they are also trained using training manuals. So yes, training is done in order to minimize these biases.
All right, sir. Thank you. There's another question. Ajay Kumar is thanking you for this informative session. Thank you, sir. As an early career researcher, uh, I'm just reading the question. I found the content very practical and relevant. The session gave me a much clearer understanding of survey design and implementation, and I'll definitely apply these insights in my research. So, sir, he wants to thank you. Sir, another thing. So, if somebody is in, yeah, Vidushi, you want to ask a question? Please go ahead. Yeah.
No, you can ask a control. Finish it. I'll just
So,
ask.
sir, what would be your three key piece of advice for somebody who is in the first year of research and then they want to design such a survey? Or what are the like challenges and how do we overcome that? So, from your personal experiences, so what would be three key advices that you're going
Yes,
to?
yes. The three key advices for those who are in first year of masters or even PhD. I would suggest first of all read about different surveys, how different surveys are done, including large-scale nationally representative surveys like NFHS, LASI, Longitudinal Aging Study in India, PLFS, HCS, and other surveys. Even you can explore IHTS, India Human Development Survey. So go through the documents, and most of the documents are publicly available. Their questionnaires, their reports, they they explain all survey methodology, survey design, everything for that particular data set. So first step will be please go through different survey and also try to go through the PhD works of your seniors, how they have done field surveys, so you can explore their PhD thesis. You can download some selected PhD thesis from Sodhganga website, those who are done on the primary data collection. So I will suggest the first thing is explore. The second thing I will suggest you to try to develop a questionnaire. First of all, construct some measures you want to capture or define your simple objective, that a simple objective and taking the target population, your college में जितने students or faculty members हैं, you can consider them as a target population and select one area you want to investigate. You can explore कि रात को कितने देर मोबाइल यूज करते हैं, मोबाइल यूज का उनके स्लीपिंग पैटर्न्स पे क्या असर पड़ रहा है, how many hours they spend on these games, कितनी देर रील्स देखते हैं, कितनी देर यूट्यूब देखते हैं. यू कैन कलेक्ट और ओटीटी प्लेटफॉर्म यूज करते हैं, कितनी टेलीविजन देखते हैं, न्यूज़पेपर पर. यू कैन सेलेक्ट लॉट्स ऑफ टॉपिक्स टेकिंग इन माइंड कि आपका टारगेट पॉपुलेशन इज कॉलेज का पॉपुलेशन. So you should design a survey, you should design a research question, and then you should design your questionnaire. आप questionnaire design करिए, and then you do sampling. Try to do probability sampling, convenience and purposive sampling तो बहुत आसान हो जाएगा कॉलेज में. You try to do probability sampling, and then do the pilot testing of your questionnaire, and then finally conduct your survey and do the analysis of data. So this will be a first learning experience for you of conducting survey and data analysis. And then at the third thing I will suggest it will be to replicate this in your community beyond your college boundary. In Islam, you can conduct this or among other society also. So these will be three things I like to suggest.
Thank you so much, sir. Vidushi, please go ahead.
No, there are questions in the chat box, so maybe we could take those. Mine is
All
not
right.
so much important.
Yeah. So, sir, Neha has a question. Like, how do we quantify the corpus building and analysis? Do we want her to further elaborate the question, or is it fine?
I am not aware of this, so I would not be a good
Yes,
person to answer this.
Yes, Neha, if you could just elaborate the question a little further. Meanwhile,
Yes.
Ananya has a question. To
Uh,
better understand the statistical underpinnings of survey design and sampling frameworks, are there any readings we can refer to for economic students in particular?
Please go through the readings made available by those surveys. Select some surveys, PLFS, NFHS, LASI, go through their reports, their website, and read their sampling strategy. You will have better idea. आपको literature book पढ़ने से जो मिलेगा, that is not applicable at all to these surveys. So best thing will be go and learn the practical. There are some documents also from UN survey. There is a book from World Bank also. Then there is a document from DHS, Demographic Health Survey, on sampling and other things. So you can explore these documents. I will share by to Kashf team, so you can forward.
Thank you so much, sir. Arun Kumar also has a question about how to fix sample size for large unknown population. So, like, what percentage of population would be an ideal sample size, if we can just say?
There are methods for unknown proportion, unknown population. There are separate methods. So उसके लिए you will have to use different formulas. So suppose you want to compute the sample size of a large population and population is unknown. So unknown population does not matter, but unknown proportion matters. So if your aim is to compute prevalence of anemia in a village or in an area with unknown population, so and you do not have any idea to what is proportion of anemia in this area from previous surveys, in such cases you can assume the prevalence value 0.5 that returns you the maximum sample size. You can use that. Formula may you need to put p is equal to 0.5.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
thanks, and Neha was unmuting herself and asking, so I think she can just go ahead and ask the question.
Yes,
I
Neha,
meant by
please go.
that, yes, so I meant by that in my research, I will have to build a corpus of Indian words which are there in German language. My research field is German studies. So I would like to know that how can I quantify that corpus which I built? Mm, how is it possible? Like, even quantitative, qualitative, both can be done, but how I need to do that? Corpus I'll build. I'll, of course, have the list of words which are getting used in German language, which are originally from Indian origin. But then what after that? That is the question.
And you have also the frequency of those words.
Frequency wouldn't matter much here because I am connecting that corpus with the commercialization aspect, that how it would how is it contributing to the economy of Germany as well as India. So that is the real testing which I need to do.
Honestly speaking, my expertise is not in this domain, so I will
Okay.
not be a better person to answer this. Yes. If you have any
Mm,
doubt related to large scale data, nationally
mm-hmm.
representative data, so you can ask. I will try.
Okay. No problem, sir. But still, whatever you have explained is very helpful, and definitely I'll implement these things. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
If, if I can just quickly ask and also comment, I think Neha, I'm wondering if you might find some work in digital I mean, not digital humanities or not, sorry, in linguistics fields related to your question, especially like there's a lot of digitalization processes happening in linguistics. It's a field I know nothing about. I've only heard people talk about it. So just wondering if that's something that might speak to how you would want to go about this work of yours. Not sure, but just
Oh,
a suggestion.
sure, I'll look at this aspect also.
Yeah.
Thank you for the suggestion.
Yeah, sure. So my question was that I remember being part of this large study where they had collected almost a sample of 3,000 across 10 districts. Um, and there was a basic mistake that was done, which was that we realized it after collecting the whole sample, is that when we were asking people about their employment status or their occupational status, we had marked homemaker as one category and unemployed or and there are several other categories that were there. So we were just wondering that after finishing the whole survey, that when there were women we met and they identified as homemakers, we marked them as such. We never asked them if they also recognize as unemployed, because it could be a woman who's seeking work and is in the working category, but it's still forced to be a homemaker. Whereas if it were a man who did not do a job, we recognize them as unemployed. They could be homemakers, vice versa. So our gender biases clearly informed the way we approached that question. So I was also wondering, like, how do you, when you think of biases, what are the level of biases one needs to unravel when one is designing a questionnaire? That was one question. The second question was, how long should an ideal questionnaire be? Like, what is the time span do you think a respondent, an average respondent, would want to give to a questionnaire, and on what will be your recommendation to the length of a questionnaire? That's those two things.
First, coming to the second question. First one is not clear to me. You can repeat that later, but I would like to answer second one first. So there is no fixed ideal length of questionnaire, but questionnaire should not be too lengthy. That would be a petty experience for the respondents, and they are getting tired of answering, and finally they either deny or respond incorrectly. जैसे कई बार होता है कि आप लिखट स्केल के क्वेश्चन शेयर करें आप एंड बिना ऑप्शंस देखे वो किसी में 1, किसी में 2, किसी में 5, किसी में 6 लगाए चले जाते हैं, ऐसा भी होता है. सो वी शुड टेक केयर ऑफ द ऑडियंस. क्या है फर्स्ट थिंग, देन व्हाट इज द मोड ऑफ सर्वे. एक टेलीफोन सर्वे है तो बहुत ज्यादा टाइम आपको लोग नहीं दे पाए. सेल्फ एडमिनिस्टर्ड है तब तो बहुत मुश्किल है. अगर फेस टू फेस इंटरव्यू है एंड यू इट डिपेंड्स ऑन इंटरव्यू, इफ यू कैन मेक दैट इंटरैक्टिव, आइस ब्रेकिंग हो गया है, यू नो, तो an interview can even go up to 1 hour, 1 hour 30 minutes. In NFHS, the length of questionnaire depends on number of children of age group is below 5, because for every children below age 5, 40-50 additional questions are asked. So on an average, it takes 45 minutes to 55 minutes or 45 minutes to 1 hour for one women questionnaire. That is the biggest questionnaire, I think, across all the surveys in India. So this takes around 1 hour. Maximum is it can take 1 hour 30 minutes. Minimum it takes 30 minutes if women is never married. So I think that is fine because data quality of NFHS is very good. So we can afford a survey with average length of 1 hour. That would be my answer.
Thank you so much, sir. So the first was a comment more than a question. If it was not clear, basically I was just saying that how our gender bias informed in the way we asked the question. So जो occupation का question था उसमें जब हम औरतों के पास जा रहे थे तो we were asking them what occupation you have, what do you work in, and they like we don't work, we are homemakers. Or they just said homemakers. या फिर we said that are you a homemaker or are you working, and they said homemaker and housewife है या homemaker है, whatever they identified as. And then अगर हम आदमियों के पास जा रहे थे, we asked them and they said no, we don't do anything. We just mark them as unemployed. I was just saying that it is possible that a woman who is a homemaker might also be unemployed because she's looking actively maybe for work, but she is, because it's also like the question, and she is within the working population, at the age of working population. So, but we didn't even ask her after that. After she said as homemaker, हमने उनसे पूछा भी नहीं कि are you looking for work? Are you actively seeking work? And vice versa for men, like, are you not looking for work? If you say you're not working, maybe you are the one who's taking care of home. So I was just saying that how we realized after the data was collected that our gender biases very heavily informed that question. So whatever responses we had from 3,000 people, they were still informed by our biases. So मैं ये बोल रही थी कि और ऐसे कुछ biases हैं जो आपको लगता है survey design में we have to be very particularly attuned to. वो पूछ रही थी मैं. Just that was the question.
Thank you for elaborating. Now it is clear. तो इस केस में that's why pilot testing is very important. So before going to final themes, data collection, we should do the pilot testing. And in case you are collecting information about employment, unemployment, so you should follow standards defined by ILO, International Labour Organization, and the question items used by PLFS and its predecessor EUS, Employment Unemployment Survey. तो इस तरह का है ना, आपको confusions और biases create नहीं होता. There are many more biases, है ना, age reporting में biases आती हैं. They are basically divided into coverage error and content error. Coverage error is mainly related to sampling thing कि particular area is not covered, and content error is mainly related to these biases. So biases में they are broadly categorized into this. Those biases could be either interviewer biases or respondent biases. Most of things coming from here. Then there could be also social desirability bias. Here, when they report ages, every type of variable has different kind of bias. ऐसे आप detail में जाएंगे, जैसे gender bias we have identified. So different variables could have different biases. For age reporting, most of the people report their age if they are not aware of their exact date of birth or year. So they report their age in terms of multiples of 5 or 10. आप पूछेंगे आपका एज क्या है, they will even age is 19, they will tell you my age is 20. Age is 21, they will tell you age is 20. So these are known as digit preferences in age reporting. So these type of biases exist, depends on different contexts. You have identified one context, someone else will face another, so he or she will identify another content, but broadly biases are of 3-4 types. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the response. Please go ahead, Akanksha.
Thank you, sir. I think if we don't have any other questions, we may just sum up. All right. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, before we wrap up, thank you so much, sir, all of you, for being here today, and your engagement means a lot. A heartfelt thanks to the speaker for actually enlightening us with so many new things, and to the team, Kashf team as well, for making today possible. We'll soon send all of you a feedback form. Please take a couple of minutes to fill it in so that we can grow and improve. There's much more to come, and your input shapes it. So if there's a